present. How are you?
Accounted for. Hmm.
Present and accounted for.
Yeah.
Um, we haven't chatted in a while.
We have not, and you seem down.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm here. I looked forward to this all day. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, I
That puts a
needed.
lot of pressure on me.
Well, if anybody can perform, it's you, baby.
Thank you. Just ask the myriad of people who consistently every 3 months come around and realize I'm the best thing they either never had or will
Mm,
never have again. So,
amen. Amen. You get to use the bakery once. Yeah.
yeah, you get these roles all you want until either I'm done or you should have been done.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
for
You
sure.
should have been done.
Yeah.
Yeah, gentle listeners, we haven't chatted in a couple weeks. I went on vacation to Ireland.
You did, you
I
did. You
did.
left me for your people, as I knew you always would. And
Mm,
like,
my people are Scottish, but we don't have to get into that.
no, 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 I know.
Okay.
But you said multiple times,
Uh-huh.
I'm glad to be back in my land, my this, my that. Even though I felt
Damn
like
it.
you were Scottish, but
I told you that I was happy to be in my land.
maybe it wasn't those exact words,
That
but
feels
like there were some
that feels
times
pointed.
where I was like, I swear you said you were Scottish, but okay.
Oh, yeah. No. I mean,
Maybe you meant my people, like musical people, or like,
Celtic. I mean, Celtic would fit that theme. So maybe that was it.
oh,
You know,
okay.
Vikings, Celtic, Scandinavians,
Ye-
you
I
know.
love a Scandinavian for sure.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah, shout out to you, Scars Guards.
We love the whole family. We'll take them
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
We'll take them all.
Um, at the same time, so
Tim, how have you been?
I have been amazing, actually. Like, I don't know what happened these past 2 days, but I have been riding high. And it's
Yeah.
probably because of that. That I am now on that like teeter down.
Oh, you're on the hill before the,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm on the like the down part of the hill. Like it's like,
Gotcha.
okay, it's about to come and I'm about to ignore everybody and and just wallow in whatever
Mm,
pity I have for myself. And when that happens, I think negatively. So today we're going to talk about the things that never happened
that's right.
that
What's
we
up?
wished happened at the time,
Right.
but we're glad now in hindsight it did not happen.
Right. Things that didn't happen that were happy didn't happen.
Yeah, but
Right.
we originally really wanted it to happen.
Right. Right. Yeah, I thought of a couple. I'm curious to see what your list looks like.
I mean, I have so many, like my whole
Okay.
life of like, whew, dodge that.
Dodge
Like,
that one. Yeah,
yeah.
sure. I can imagine.
And there will be more as I get older and older. And I see my friends with their situations and I'm like, whew, couldn't have been me.
Nope, not gonna be the one.
Yeah.
Well, you want to go first? What's on your list?
Well, I mean, first and the most is I'm glad I didn't have that kid. Thank God for abortion. So
Wait, do I have you never
yeah.
told me this?
Well, I mean, as you do in high school, you experiment with sexuality. Um,
Right.
and I had a young lady who I was, doing things with.
Hmm.
And, as one does when they are younger, they're dumb and they don't pull out appropriately. And yeah, I would have had a kid about 3 months before my niece was born. Yeah.
My mind is blown.
Yeah.
Timothy Carter. I was
Well, thank.
aware. I was aware you had had familiar relations with females before.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was not aware there was a child scare. This is
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
breaking news.
Not a scare. It was
Well,
there. Like
that you may have actually birthed a child. Scare.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would have a full 20-year-old right now.
Oh my god.
Can you imagine who
Oh
the fuck I
no.
would be as
Well, first off, you would be an amazing parent. You
Oh
would
well thank you.
you would be an awesome parent to a
I don't
child.
think that's true. But like I would definitely be a completely different person for
Yeah.
sure. I probably would still be in Martinsville.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't know you, wouldn't have this podcast at
Nope.
all.
Probably not.
I might be. No, I probably would still be a pharmacy technician. Like,
Mm-mm.
just trying to make ends meet. And I don't know, maybe still going to church regularly
Yeah.
and
Wow.
hoping that one of my kids was gay. Like,
So they could live your dream.
yeah, so they
Yeah.
could live my whole dream of being a whole for so
For
many.
so many more and giving and giving. I do think about that sometimes. It's like my parents had me at 26 and 24.
Mhm.
Um, my mom had my oldest sister at 20. And I'm like,
Yeah.
if I had a kid, like I and my dad, I was 17 at the age my dad, I am now when my dad was 41,
Yeah.
18 or whatever. And I'm like, I would have a full grown ass adult,
Yeah.
like,
And one of you. Like
and
think
me.
about how you were at
Yeah.
that
Oh
time.
God,
Like
no.
scaring the shit out of your parents. Like
No, so much black hair dye and goth makeup and
yeah. And anxiety and like
anxieties. Oh, 17, 18-year-old me.
yeah.
That was not the way. I mean, I'm fine. Well, whatever.
You
Oh,
ended up fine. Like
yeah, I'm glad I'm here, but yeah, and yeah, that's just wild. Timothy Carter, the father.
right?
Yeah, the
I would have
parent.
more
The
beard for
parent.
sure. Like
Go super scruff. My beard. I'm
every
sorry.
now
By the way,
yeah.
my beard is at. I'm loving it. Like
You should.
I
It's very
just
attractive.
thank you. It's full. I was patient. I've been trimming it more regularly, and I
Yeah.
was
You
like,
have to be
eh.
patient, kind, important. You have to really speak to the things that you want to flourish.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite like the plants. You
Quite
have
like
to
the
speak
plant.
to them and water them and, eat the things that make it grow.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Like vagine.
Like
Um,
vagine. Like a vagine. Like my vagine.
all right.
Okay.
Well, what are you glad uh, about
I'm
that didn't happen?
I'm glad so one of the caveats here that you said that I didn't really consider was that we really wanted to happen. So I gotta but I did really want it to happen in the moment. I'm just glad it
Yeah.
didn't happen. Which is I'm glad I didn't kill a cop. So
Hmm. Tell this story.
I'm really glad I did not kill a police officer. So, when I was 16,
Mhm.
me and my high school friends went to a concert. And it was about 2 hours away from our house.
Mhm.
And we go to the concert, and after the concert, we go to get back on the interstate and we get lost. We can't figure out where we're at. And so we pull over to this kind of seedy hotel to kind of pull up because we're driving two cars. I'm driving and our friend Ronnie's driving. And so no, sorry, I'm driving, Kenny's driving. So we pull over to this kind of like weird kind of seedy hotel and we're trying to figure out our bearings. Like, are we going east or west here? Like, how do we get home? This is all before cell phones, people. This
Mhm.
whole thing. And as we're sitting there, these cars pull into the parking lot in a way that keeps us from leaving. So it's kind of like through an alley. So we're like, okay, we're gonna go east. So we get back in our car to leave, and as we're going to leave, these cars pull into the alley, and these people get out of their cars with their guns pulled.
Mm.
And Kenny is in front of me in his car, and I'm watching this happen, and these people with guns, and they're wearing tracksuits and medallions, and they approach Kenny's car, guns out, pointed at Kenny.
Oh shit.
And my first thought is, I gotta hit him with my car. Like, we can't get out of this parking lot. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
now or never. So they have their guns pulled on Kenny. And this is stick shift. I can drive stick.
Oh, you
Throw my
can.
car, throw my car into first. And I start revving, and I'm like, let's do it. So I start revving my car, and one of the guys who's got their gun pointed at the passenger sees that I'm revving and points his gun at me, and says, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I was like, it's gonna happen. We're just gonna let it go. And it's at this point, right before I'm about to release and run into this guy and pin him between me and Kenny's car. I see that the medallion looks a lot like a police officer's badge. I was like, oh, these are the cops. These aren't like a drug deal gone bad. Like, I thought maybe we're on somebody's
Oh,
territory. Like, no, these are police officers. So,
this is not a turf war. Like,
right. So they thought we had pulled into the CD hotel where apparently a lot of drugs get exchanged. They thought they were
um,
stopping a drug deal.
oh,
We thought they were people angry that we're on their turf, like hanging out or whatever.
yeah. You thought that it was like, oh, we want your drugs.
Yeah, we
Like,
want whatever you got, or like they was sticking us up because we're 16-year-old kids and whatever.
yeah.
Um, and no, they were police officers who thought they were doing a drug bust.
Oh
Um,
wow.
and so there was a split second there where like
You really could have changed your life.
could have changed my life, could have been like shot and killed.
You would have been Orange is the New Black. Like,
Well, if not, Orange is the new dead and gone.
yeah.
There were multiple officers with multiple guns. And it's one of my earliest, like, I've got a couple earlier memories of panic attacks, but this is like a pre 9/11 specific
Yeah.
attack.
This
So
is this is the inklings of what's to
this is
come.
what's going to
Like,
happen. We get scrying into the crystal ball. And
not the foreshadowing.
the foreshadowing, these cops pulling guns on us. So we get out of the car and they're like, "What are you guys doing?" And we explain, like, we're from Williamsburg and we just left this concert. They're like, "Oh, you fucking kids." They're laughing. They're like, "Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that's what a coincidence. Like, how funny it is." And like,
They're
you guys,
laughing
they're
after
laughing.
pulling guns.
These,
Okay.
I'm not kidding. They are laughing and being like, "What a weird mistake." And it's like, you had 16-year-old kids
Y'all are
in their
wild.
cars. It was crazy. So that's my I almost killed a cop story, and I lived to tell the tale, and I'm really glad that didn't happen.
I know, because I wouldn't have this podcast. Like,
I wouldn't be here.
you wouldn't have had panic attack for,
Yeah.
a decade. But like,
So yeah. So
well, I'm very glad that you did not further attempt to kill a cop.
yes. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes.
What else you got? What else are you grateful for?
Um, yeah, so I'm very grateful that you're gonna have to beep a name. I'm very grateful that had his baby. Um,
Okay.
and it changed the trajectory of what I thought I was gonna be doing with my life. I thought that I was gonna be living in Fairlawn and
Mhm.
um starting a life with somebody that uh turned out I wasn't going to start my life with. So I'm very happy about that, because at the time I was just a lowly lab assistant making $11 an hour, and I don't know where the hell I would have been
Mm. Amen.
had I mean, at the time he hadn't went to school to become who he is now, and I don't know what we would have done together.
I mean, that's interesting because I'm kind of curious about the sliding doors of that because, and it's actually interesting that your first two stories involve children being born or not being born. We can talk more about that in therapy,
Right?
but
Like,
um,
now y'all see why I don't do kids.
yeah, no, they
They
really,
have
really
ruined my life.
they will fuck you up. They
They
literally
ru-
eat your body.
uh, Literally.
I but the thing's interesting. Oh, dang on it! Now I gotta beep it again.
I mean, you have to do it twice.
That person's story is interesting because I think like there's also the unknown, which is like it could have been a nice life, right? Like it's not like
It could have been a moment.
it could have been a moment. It could have, yeah.
Yeah.
From this moment,
I
but
don't know.
who knows? The forever's forever. But
Yeah. But I'm glad it didn't happen
yeah,
because I was able to realize that men ain't shit and they're always going to do what they do, and also just leave that area. Like,
yeah,
it catapulted different things for me. Had I not left that area, I would have never left Roanoke, and definitely would have went to DC.
right.
So, yeah, that really that was one of those pivotal moments, and I'm just like, oh, I thought that was the love of my life. Might be one of the loves of my life, but
Sure.
like, I'm glad it didn't go the way that I wanted it to go at the time.
Yeah, I hear you.
And I got a beautiful family member from it. So
There you
yeah,
go.
yeah.
Yeah,
I know my shit is like real, like,
Rare.
and I mean, you killed a cop.
Could have. Could have.
I mean, there was a fork in the road.
Luckily chose the right one in my opinion.
Yes. All right. Well, what's next for Mr. Bear?
I'm really glad I did not quit. This was a part of the show where we said some things that we shouldn't have said, so I had to edit it out. Yeah. I had a really bad day at work about 10 years ago.
Okay.
I'd been there already for about a year, and I was frustrated. I was kind of like stuck in like store management. I had already been doing that for like 15 years.
Yeah.
I wanted something different, and a job opened up in the company that I was working with to move into recruitment and get out of the store. And I was like, and it would be a corporate job. It was exempt. It was like, it was a opportunity for change. And so I applied for the job. At the same time, because of the frustration in my current role, I also applied for a couple other jobs outside the company. And at the same time I applied for the recruiter job internally, I also got a job offer from Trader Joe's to go work for them. Not that I really wanted to like flip from a store manager to a grocery manager, but I needed a pivot.
Yeah.
I needed something different. And they were paying a lot of money. And so I was like, all right, well, maybe I'll go do that. Maybe the culture's different or it's a better fit or whatever. But man, I would really love that recruiter job. That's the job I want. And so I told my boss and I was like, hey, like, FYI, I'm waiting to hear back from internally about the recruiter job, but I also have this other job. So like,
You're losing me regardless, but
right, I'm not saying in this role, but I have another job offer, but I'd really like to stay with the company.
yeah.
And she's like, all right, that's cool. We'll see what happens. Well, a week goes by and I don't hear back from anybody about the recruitment job. And I was like, hey, like, I start this other job in a week. Like, I gave my notice. And they were like, oh, well, if you're giving your note, like, it turned into a thing, right?
Yeah.
And she said some stuff that I didn't really appreciate. And I was like, oh, well, if that's how you feel, I've got another job. So deuces. So I dipped.
Yeah.
I was like, that was my last day.
Yeah.
I turned on my
You,
laptop, turned on my
you went
keys.
Slade on them.
I was like, oh well, I don't have to put up with this. Bye forever.
My man
So
got two jobs.
that's right. I'm wanted. Um, so I quit and drove home, and I was angry. And the next
Mhm,
day I missed 4 calls. I missed a call from my boss. I didn't want to talk to
mhm,
her. My boss's boss, who was
mhm.
very intimidating, and I didn't want to talk to her. The boss's boss, like a VP of the company, and I'm like, oh no, why are they calling me? And then ultimately HR, and I'm like, and I was mad. I was like, I don't want to talk to them. Like they pissed me off, and this whole thing. And I was sitting there and I was complaining to mom.
Mhm.
If you have an opportunity, people, your mom wants to help you. She loves you.
Most
Oh,
days,
most
yes.
days. And she just kind of said it. Like I was mad. I was stewing. I was talking to her about it. I was missing these calls. She's like, kind of sounds like you'd rather. Do you still want to stay with them though? Like you'd prefer to stay with them,
Yeah.
but you're mad, you know. And you walked out. I was like, yeah. And so for the first time, like in a while, I like sucked it up. I answered the call,
Mhm.
and it was HR, and they're like, "So what's going on?" I was like, "Okay, so here's what happened. I had this conversation with my boss. You know, I explained what happened. I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, it was just a bad day, and I apologize. I know that that's not ideal, but I don't really love what she said, and so they're like, oh, okay, because we were gonna call and offer you the recruiter job, and
Yeah.
I was like,
I was,
okay,
well, immediately, if my boss's boss called, I would have picked up because I
I
was like, oh, so clearly somebody did, she said something she shouldn't have said.
right,
Like,
or they know that something's like
yeah,
amiss,
yeah, yeah.
right? But again, that person was intimidating. I did not have the relationship I have with him now,
Yeah.
so I was like, oh, I don't want to talk to her. She scares the crap out of me. But then when the VP called, I'm like, something's weird, and then HR, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm like, did I not leave my keys? Like, do they want something? I was going that way,
Oh my God, you're so
and
young.
such a baby. And the mom's like, suck it up and take the call. And I was
Yeah.
like, whatever. So I took the call and I said what I said. And they're like, well, we were actually calling to offer you the job. And I was like, and I said, I appreciate that. And I totally understand if you want to withdraw the offer because of my behavior. Like, this
Yeah.
is not acceptable. It was, I threw a
I mean,
tantrum. I mean, I, no,
um,
like, she said what she said. She left the office. I dropped my keys. I dropped my laptop and I left. I left my team. I
oh,
didn't
that's,
tell anybody. Didn't tell anybody where I was going. Like they didn't. Like, they were like, "Where are you?" And I was like, "I don't have your number anymore." I dipped.
yeah. Oh, well, I
So
mean, that's not bad. That I
it's
thought that
but
you like cussed her out. Like,
oh no. She said what she
yeah,
said. I was like, "Oh, so I don't work here anymore." It wasn't professional. And
girl.
so I told HR. I said as much. I was like, "The way I exited was not professional. I understand that. I had a bad day. I do love the company and what they stand for."
Yeah.
So I would love the job, but I also get it that like, you know, you might want to go otherwise. And I think it was that humble moment that ultimately like I got the job. And
Yeah.
so I got to stay and it changed my life.
Yeah.
Like getting out of retail where I had been since I was 16 and like going for
Oh, I
something bigger.
remember.
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
already friends. So yeah, it completely changed my life um and I'm still with that company. And from there, it's like I got my degree. I'm now in IT.
Hmm.
I'm well, I don't want to jinx myself, but there's.
Room to
I'm really
grow.
glad. I'm really glad I took the call. I'm really glad I sucked it up
Yeah.
and I didn't stay mad and go work at Trader Joe's for the next 5 to 10 years, where
Yeah.
I would, you know.
I mean,
Um,
you look great in flowered shirts, but
I pull off a Hawaiian
yeah,
shirt of sorts,
yeah,
right?
you get, but you know,
Yeah.
that's not the move
No.
for you.
No, what happened was supposed to happen, and I'm really glad that I listened to my mom. So I'm gonna cut this out and send it to her because mom gets mad. She don't think I talk about her on here. I'll
Oh,
be
we
like,
talk
see,
about you all the time, Donna.
I talk about my mama. So um, yeah. Anyway, so thanks, mom. I appreciate it.
Think so.
Thanks, mom. What about you? You got another one?
Yeah, so I'm very glad that um I sucked it up and cried for 4 years through my training at the last permanent place I worked. I'm very I'm very grateful for the three black women that put me through the ringer. They
Hmm.
did. Um, but it was all for the peace and the joy and the um serenity that I get every single day that I leave work, that when I'm at work, that this is nothing. Just like the skills that I have because of them, that my tears were not in vain. And
Yeah.
they and to this day I can call them and they love me to death, and I love them, and I'm very happy that I stuck it out. I mean, the first year, second year, and up into the fourth, because it really changed my life, and how I move to this day, and probably forever.
Yeah.
Um, so I appreciate that. Yeah,
Nice.
I thought it
You
was going
I
to be. Yeah,
Yeah, when you were in that role, especially those first 6 months,
yeah. I
baby
cried
girl.
every day for like a year. Like
No, it was more. Yeah, I think the first 6 months was Jason. What was that guy's name?
that was Eric. Yeah,
Eric. There was
yeah,
the first 6 months with that asshole. On
yeah. That
top
was
of on top of the
yeah,
change, then he finally
exactly.
left, but you were still like, you guys were just so overwrought with work and
We
getting
were
slammed.
overall with work. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and I definitely didn't know it in a way that they did. So
Hmm.
like, I mean, I was doing a lot of comparison. You're not supposed to do that, but I did it, and it just felt when you have someone who is like great and wonderful at job like I am now,
Hmm.
um, it is it's so sucky to be the trash, uh, and like see if and to like see the future and be like, I will be as good as them one
Hmm.
day. They had the benefit of time at that time as I do now. And
Yeah.
and and because of that, like actually my old supervisor called me the other day, and she had some girl in her office crying. And she was like, please tell her that it's all gonna be okay. And
Yeah.
so like I got to, talk to little me and be like, hey girl, yes, these tears, they're relevant. Do it, cry through it, get over it, and you'll be okay.
Yeah.
You'll be better for it actually. So it was nice to remember that. So yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay. Hey, do you have another one?
I do. I've got one that you're very aware of.
Am I?
You're very much so. And
Oh.
I think we've referenced it, if not fully talked about it before. But you know what? We're over 100 episodes in. People
Hey
don't,
girl.
we can talk about some stuff again. It's fine.
Listen, I almost thought about like just going back to an episode and seeing if we still feel the same way that we
Yeah,
were talking about. Just a couple episodes like that. We should just listen to and be like, hell no, I don't feel that
that's
way.
not what I thought.
Yeah.
So, in a moment that really could have changed our trajectory and this whole podcast,
Hmm.
and our lives, I quit smoking. I was
And you
like,
did.
I did. And I was like, you know what? No more of this.
Hmm.
And so I quit smoking, and I was in West Virginia, isolated,
Yes.
right? So I'm in West Virginia, I'm by myself, I'm working 70, 80 hours a week and then going home to an empty apartment. And sometimes I have the pleasure of talking to my friends like Tim Carter.
Yeah.
And at this point, I don't even remember what the trigger was. Do you know what it was?
I do not. It's probably something I said slick or like just maybe I didn't support you on something. I don't
No,
know.
I mean, I'm sure it was probably a half-baked joke, something that today would like, something
Yeah.
that would not normally get at me, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But Tim said some comment, some joke.
And at that time, like it would have had to been something that wasn't that serious because I wasn't who I am today. Like I
No,
wasn't just gonna say something out the way for no
no,
reason.
no, no, no. We were still really at that point developing what our friendship
Yeah,
really was going to
and I
be
mean
in the
that was with
foundation.
everybody for me. I was still like
Yeah,
feeling out and trying to find home. So
exactly.
yeah,
So me and Tim were checking in with each other, occasionally on the phone while I'm in West Virginia. And I talked to him one night, and this is like a day or two into me quitting smoking. And he says something funny, a joke, or a sly comment that I do not take very well.
yeah,
I was very upset in
hmm
that moment. And I said something to the effect of, well, if that's how you feel, then maybe we don't need to
yeah.
talk anymore. Something like
And I
that.
was like, okay.
And I hit Tim with that. And Tim, you know,
Listen,
Tim's
now
a
I may not be like at the time I wasn't like the type to argue with you.
right,
I'll just be done
right.
because I've lost it all. So why not lose you too? Like
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
like,
Reference other podcasts about Tim's backstory. But
yeah.
Tim's not in a place to fuck around.
No, I
And
just don't.
in that moment, I was also not in a place to fuck around. And
Yeah.
so I definitely said something like, well, if that's how you feel about it, then maybe we don't need to talk anymore. And Tim's like, okay, well, if that's how you feel.
Yeah.
And then click. And it was a done call. And
I was just like, well, I lost my friend. So
was it seconds? Was it
it
minutes?
may have been 3 minutes.
It
I'll give
it
it 3 minutes because I had long enough to be
uh
like, so no friends.
nope.
Um, just all right, time to go out and drink and find the next person that's going to be, you know, somebody to meet.
And I think you're right. It had to be a few minutes because I remember I had the thought to leave my house and go get a pack of cigarettes
Yeah.
to go grab a cigarette and like deal with that. I
And we
paced.
had never really gotten in a fight, any types of
No,
fights. So it was just like, ooh,
I don't fight. Like
yeah,
as a rule with people, like I will remove myself from a situation, but
yeah,
I'm not like going to confront somebody and say like, well, if that's like that's not me.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so I remember like I went to like I was like I grabbed my keys. I was like I need a fucking cigarette. I didn't do that, thank goodness. I
Mhm.
paced around my kitchen for a second, and it dawned on me in the moment that this happened with you on the phone. Again, the logic's not there. If I had paused
Yeah,
for a second and said, "You are going through nicotine withdrawal. You are highly emotional, and you're isolated and alone, and your friend just said something that hit you the wrong way. Like, calm down."
yeah,
And so I it was like 3 minutes. I call you back.
yeah.
You luckily picked up. I was fully prepared for you not to pick up the phone. I like for
Yeah.
you to be
I
like,
honestly don't know why I picked up.
I mean,
I don't. I won't. Yeah.
no,
Like
you don't put up a shit. You don't put up shit.
I'm final. Like it is. Listen,
Yeah,
I look
final
now.
cut.
Maybe I'll pick up for you, but generally, anybody on that lower rung of acquaintance ain't getting no
Mhm.
pickup.
No,
Like,
no. And so you luckily picked up, and I was immediately like, I am so sorry.
yeah.
I, you know, I don't know what that was.
I mean, you immediately picked up and was like, "So I'm quitting smoking." That was the thing. Like,
Yeah, I tried to explain as I was trying to be calm and logical. And I was like, hopefully he will hear me and he will understand and he will know that this was like a flash. It's like the only thing I
Yeah.
can think about is like a hot flash. I don't get mad and angry
Yeah.
at people. I don't lose my shit like that ever. And why you
Except
got
for your
him,
boss that time.
except
Like,
for my boss. Oh, and again, like, but that actually, that's what I do. With you, I like vocalized it, right? With
yeah.
them, it's just like, oh, okay, well, have a nice day. And then Key's like, I,
Yeah.
I'll just go on the side. I'm not going to confront somebody. With you, I was just
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
like whatever. So yeah. So you picked up. I humbly apologized for my behavior, and
Yeah.
luckily you accepted my apology.
And just like I gave you some
That's
good.
right. I definitely didn't mention their name for a reason, but that's okay. I will. I already got to. I already got to beep it out anyway. That's okay.
And just like your job,
Uh huh.
I gave you the work. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, y'all can find me on LinkedIn. You know what's up. Um,
No, you actually can't. You can't find
can't
me
do it
on
at all.
LinkedIn at all. I
Not
don't.
even a little bit.
What's that?
What's an in-linked? Before we wrap up, are there any other ones you want to share with the listeners?
Yeah, every last one of my ex-boyfriends. I'm so glad you didn't last. Because who I am, where I am, what I am could not have been if you had not released or been released. Um, so yeah, thanks. And that sounds so bitter because I'm in a negative space. But like
Sure.
there's no bitterness toward that. Like some of
Yeah.
y'all are still friends with me and all of y'all can really talk to me except for you, bitch, Clyde. Fuck you
Oh,
forever. Um
am I beeping that one?
no,
Oh,
no, it's fuck Clyde forever. Because you tried to ruin me and
that's
you
right.
never will. But yeah, I'm not hurt. I'm just over it.
Amen.
Yeah. So it's to all you girls. Thank you so much for all the nut that you swallowed and all the nut that I swallowed. I appreciate it. Every preschool that I gave you.
Thank you. Next.
Thank you, tits. Anyway,
Well,
yeah.
Tim, let me ask you, what's making you live this week?
What's making me live this week is an artist by the name of Jer Frere. I don't know how to say your name.
Jennifer.
It's no, it's Jair, and then it starts with a F for the last name. I'm so sorry, I don't know how to say your name, but he is a soulful rock
Mm.
singer. Um, so good. He has an EP out. One of the songs is just the brokenhearted emoji. Like
Yeah.
so good. Um, he is exactly imagine Amy Lee from Evanescence, but a
Mm.
boy voice.
Interesting.
It's so good. It's so good. Um, and I'm completely and utterly in love with him. He is adorable. So
Oh,
yeah,
nice. That's
living for
awesome.
him.
Good
What about you?
stuff.
What you living for?
I am living for communication.
Call me,
Call me.
beat me if you want to
Beep.
reach me.
That's right. I am go- I'll say this. I am going through a process right now where my ego and my insecurities are
Mhm.
getting body slammed
Yeah.
every day.
hmm hmm hmm
And I am having to unlearn. Yeah, that's not right. I'm having to learn my value and my worth. Um, Tim, when we lived together, that was this interesting period in my life where coinciding with losing weight and being healthy,
Yeah.
where I think I really pushed back some of my insecurities and I started banking confidence
Yeah.
and
But confidence in like that.
a confidence in that, confidence in me. Like,
Yeah.
and I rode that wave for a hot minute. And with everything that's going on right now, what I'm realizing is that those insecurities and demons that I thought I overcame
Hmm.
were just like they were just waiting. They're just waiting. they weren't resolved. They weren't programmed out. They've been there and they're rearing their ugly heads. So I've had like a very rough few weeks, and I say all that to say the reason that communication is what I'm living for is I've really there are these like friends and people in our circle that have really like stepped up.
Yeah.
People who are like found family and who are lending an ear, and just available to chat. And elders, people who have been through some things I'm going through and are willing to provide their advice. And I'm just like tapping into the system that I've had, but maybe took for granted. And they've just been so wonderful. And the other part of the communication is I'm continuing to learn that I have a very loving and patient partner. And when I'm swirling, I really should be communicating. And
Yes.
and I really, really appreciate that. So communication is what I'm thankful for this week.
Aw.
So
Well, I will say this. You are very, 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 very loved all around by all. I really don't know anybody who don't love you. So,
mm,
and you should be not saying that you aren't confident or whatever, but the things that you are far more superior than the things that you aren't. So,
mm, thank you.
and I love you very much.
I love you too.
Yeah.
Tim, where can people find us?
You can find us anywhere you can find potassium. You can find it on on my brain apparently.
Uh-huh.
You can find it in my body thanks to Element.
Hey.
You can find it in bananas, banana hammocks.
I had a
And
banana today. I don't eat
oh,
bananas regularly. Look at that. You can find it in me.
potassium.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay.
That was not a K. But anyway, you would have known that. You would know that if you look at cubandchub.com and if you look at us on YouTube. So
That's right. Watch our little videos. Yeah, you can find us at Chub and Cub. We've been doing this for 2 years, and I still do that sometimes. You can
it's
find us.
because you really love Chub.
I do love
Yeah.
Chub. You can find us at cubandchub.com, where you can stream our episodes, buy our merchandise. We'd love to have your money. Let's just be honest.
I mean, I don't know why y'all not giving us more money. It's Christmas time. Y'all ought to be buying your children Cub and Chub merch.
That's right. You get cell phone cases, stickers, mouse pads. Get
I
it
mean,
all.
anything.
You deserve it all. You
You
deserve.
deserve much more than what you bought last week. Buy some more merch from us. We need money, but I will show my butt. It is perfect.
It is
Yes.
again a beautiful
I don't know.
highlight.
It's getting a little weird right now. I need to get into the gym and really perk it back up because my job is very sedentary and I need to get it together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I one thing about being in manic mode for me is my calendar gets really strict real quick.
Yeah.
So and also all the nerves. I'm not eating like I normally do. So I'm down 5 pounds from stress and working out.
Yes. I'm stressed, but I look so good. I'm stressed, but I look so
I'm
good.
stressed, but these Levi jeans are fitting great.
Ugh. I just wear stretch pants and it's fine.
There you go, leisure wear, and then you get into it.
Yes, I'm an old man.
Timmy Tim Tim, it's so good to see you.
It's so great to see you.
Everybody, enjoy the rest of your week. We'll talk to you next time, okay? Mwah.
Don't go chasing waterfalls. Stick to the rivers and the lakes that you need to be around. Love you.